Hello guys, welcome back to Movie Reviews. We've got an interesting double bill this time. So obviously the title suggests, of course, there might be some bland movies, but they have some interesting people attached to it as well, which is quite interesting. So let's not beat around the bush. Let's do this. So this is episode 3. This is Cowboys and Aliens from 2011. So this is directed by Jon Favreau, who actually went on to do Iron Man and Iron Man 2, and also did Sephora, Space Adventure previously, but also The Jungle Book as well, from 2016. So interesting. So a bit of an interesting filmography here as Jon Favreau, of course. So it stars Daniel Craig, Harrison Ford, Olivia Wilde, got Sam Rockwell in this one, Paul Dano's in this as well. So it's a quite interesting cast in this one. The story centres around an outlaw who I think is called Jake, who basically awakens and he has his bracelets on his arm, and he has no memory of whatsoever. So he's basically confused, and stuff happens, of course. Gets in trouble with the local sheriff played by Harrison Ford, and basically everything kicks off when aliens start terrorising the town. And obviously what he, Jake, what he has on his arm, is basically some powerful alien technology that he uses. It's like a dangerous weaponized bracelet or something that he has. And it's like, just take them down really. I think either it's to do with, he's taken some of the technology and wanted back, or just depends, because it's been a while since I've seen this film actually, really, but there we go. Obviously it's an interesting one because this is 2011. I do remember it. I remember seeing it on a pirated DVD copy many years ago. Probably still have it somewhere. I haven't seen it since though, so I've only seen this film once. But it's just in the canister really. Obviously you have Harry Gregson Williams doing a score. One interesting thing about this though is actually, its production, or how it started, was actually, it was sort of first started around in 1997, so quite a long time ago. So you're talking over nearly 13 years ago before the film actually come out. So it's been sort of like in production or in the ether since 1997, and yeah. But obviously, it's what it is really. It's just basically a run around sci-fi western type thing. Just typical humans versus aliens type of thing, Independence Day type thing, really. Nothing really exciting, really. I think it's just like, Weekend, I was just like mixed, really, but I don't know. Do people still remember this fondly or not? I don't know, but I still sort of do. It was in that sort of period in between when Daniel Craig was still James Bond, of course, because there was a gap between his second and his third one, really. So Quantum of Solace 2008 and Skyfall 2012. Obviously, to the whole rights issue and everything else, like the rights to the Bond name, which obviously Van Old Chestnut reared his head again, really, at that point. And so, obviously, in between, you don't know, people have expected a Bond film in 2010 or something, but they haven't really until 2012 with his third one, really. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting seeing Craig in other films. Really, it's just like, again, it's like that Bond thing, it's like you see Sean Connery in The Rock, or The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, or Roger Moore in The Quest, Timothy Dalton in The Rocketeer, Pierce Brosnan in Taffin, or any other films really. That sort of thing. Or George Lazenby in some Hong Kong film that you probably have never seen. Who knows? But it's interesting. It's part of it's something. Obviously, the director Jon Favreau went on to do bare things, of course. The Marvel Cinematic Universe did a few things. Daniel Craig, obviously, at this point now, actually, he's sort of finished up his tenure as Bond. Quite a long time actually. He's been playing Bond since 2006. So that's been interesting. 5 films span over like how many? Over nearly 2 decades, actually, a decade and a half, really. Interesting. So that's one thing. Nothing else to really point out, really. It's just that have a decent cast on here. And it's like, yeah, just average, really. That's Cowboys and Aliens. And the next film we'll talk about is Slaughterhouse Rulez from 2018. So this is it's a quite interesting film, actually. It's a horror comedy. It's directed by Crispin Mills, who people probably know if you're into music and everything else. He's the frontman of Cooler Shaker, who did the version of Hush in 1997. Was it Billy Joel Royal's version of Hush in 1997 I think it's for I know he did last summer, I think. Obviously I think they sort of fizzled out at this point, and obviously Crispin Mills jumped on to do films. So it's interesting because this is actually the second film he worked with Simon Pegg. The first film they actually sort of worked on together was a Fantastic Theory of Everything, which I still need to review on that one, which is pretty interesting. So this is their second collaboration together. This is interesting. Nick Frost is in it as well. You've also got a few. So basically the story sets in this boarding school in England, and nearby there's like an what do they call it, like archaeological sort of like dig really, involving people looking at this big sinkhole. But I think something's in the sinkhole that sort of emerges and basically attacks everyone and sort of becomes, so it's like a possessed type thing really. Like they've unearthed some evil spirit or something come out of the ground. And basically everyone just becomes like raving maniacs and starts killing everybody really around the boarding school. You have a young group of antagonists as well, who I can't really forget, really, unfortunately. But obviously you have also the supporting cast of Simon Pegg and Nick Frost as well included. They're more like they're mainly supporting roles in this one, even though it's sort of like top billing. They play supporting roles because you focus on these group of kids, really, these group of teenagers who they basically disband together, of course, and basically just take out this evil that's happening around in the area. You've also got a few interesting performances by Alex McQueen as well, who plays one of these sort of scientists investigating the sinkhole as well. Also Margot Robbie's in as well, just briefly, as a Simon Pegg's love interest, really, who's in Africa doing medical business or something, like helping dying children somewhere in Africa. And she's only briefly, which is strange, really, because you could probably think, she might be in the film a bit more or come to the film and meet him, really. What's her name? Audrey, I think. Is it? I think it is, actually. So, a bit bizarre, really. That could be anybody really, It could be some random British woman that Simon Pegg has introduced, It's like, okay, again, more top billing, so to keep the success of the film going on. It's good, very gory as well in places as well. So it's very, again, Evil Deadish type thing, really. Interesting enough, but so it works. I really enjoyed it, of course. Obviously, it's basically, like saying a boarding school, which is quite different, actually. Usually they can probably set maybe like a coming of age drama, or maybe a murder mystery, really, in a boarding school. And obviously for horror comedy, actually, it's something quite different. Very upper class as well, usually. Simon Pegg's character is more upper class, really. Again, like a teacher who's basically those old-fashioned, usually the old-fashioned ones, right, from the 1910s or whatever, basically just go around and say, oh, chat, so, and that sort of thing, like very sort of posh, very old-fashioned teachers, which is quite interesting at that point. Some interesting, obviously they got creatures coming around, of course, attacking everybody, of course. Actually, that's the one thing as well. There's some, obviously creatures coming around. I think that's what it is, really. Excuse me, I do apologise. It is the creatures. I just realised, of course, because they attacked the headmaster. Of course, he sort of assists them, and obviously something involving run over his own dog, and also just getting mutilated. Or say, oh, my dog, and also he gets ripped to shreds, really, at the end. And that thing, really. Simon Pegg's character also sort of gets ripped to shreds as well at some, actually he doesn't really. He thinks he's getting ripped to shreds, but also he just sort of comes about and basically he's dazed and covered in blood and everything else at the end. And yeah, it's just a really interesting film, really. Horror comedy, British, it is British as well, so that's a good thing. And yeah, more importantly, I was quite surprised that Christopher Mills himself, the frontman of Cool and Shaker, directed this film, interestingly, obviously. And it's also the second time he's worked with Simon Pegg as well, which I need to talk about the first collaboration at some point, maybe in next series or series after, who knows? Because that is actually an interesting film, that is. A Fantastic Theory of Everything. Quite psychological, but interesting. I'll get around to that. That's it, guys. Nothing else to say about this one. Slaughterhouse rules? Absolutely. So, I've been talking about Cowboys and Aliens from 2011 and Slaughterhouse Rules from 2018. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you later. Bye.